Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So we were discussing about TCP/IP protocol suite. Yes. So any doubt in the previous classes? Am I audible?
No, ma'am. No.
Okay, fine. So in the last class we were discussing about the TCP/IP protocol suite and TCP and UDP headers, right? So at each layer the data is going to be modified by adding some additional information. Okay. So whatever the data unit at each layer, we are going to call it as protocol data unit. So coming to the application layer, so user data, so that will be converted into the TCP segment and adding the TCP header. Okay. So what is the process here? The complete user data will be divided into parts. So each part is one segment. So for each segment, you will be adding the header. So if you are going for connection oriented, TCP header will be added. If you are going for connectionless, UDP header will be added. Okay. Then next layer, we are going for the IP datagram. So here, the data we are going to add what? IP header. Okay. IP header, we are having two versions, IPv4 and IPv6. Okay. Next, we are going to have network access layer where we are going to add the network header. Okay. So like this, the data is going to change, modify. Okay. So that protocol data units are called TCP segment, IP datagram, okay, network level packet. So like this, the data is modified at each layer and then it will be transmitted over the physical line. Okay. Uh, Roll number 56 has raised the hand. Any issue? Roll number 56. You can unmute and ask me. Roll number 56. Okay, fine. So, how the application will be identified using the application port number. So, we require what? Source port number and destination port numbers, sequence number, acknowledgement number. So, these sequence number for not duplicate packets, okay, and acknowledgement number for what? Receive the guarantee receiving. Once we have received, the acknowledgement will be given, header length, reserved bits, flags. Okay, window is for what? Controlling the flow. Sender window and receiver window will be set. All we have discussed in the last class. Okay, checksum for identifying the errors, urgent pointer for any urgent information. So like this, any clashes are there, for that some congestion on the network, so that information need to be indicated, then we are going for this urgent pointer. So like this, we are having what? TCP header. So here this is for TCP header and UDP header. It doesn't guarantee any delivery. Okay, so it is what? Connection less. Okay, so UDP header is having only 4 parts: source port number, destination port number, segment length, and checksum. So this we have seen in the last class, right? Then coming to the IP datagram. Okay, so IP datagram, so where we are going to have the data, we are adding the IP header. Okay, so in the header, so what are the information? As I told you, there are of what? Two types of IP protocols. Mainly commonly used versions are IPv4 and IPv6. Okay, two versions are available. So what are the IPv4 header contents and how the IPv4 address will be? So in short, we are going to see here. Okay, right. So coming to IPv4 header. So when we are going for version 4, so initial days, okay, so we are using what? This format of IPv4 where we are mentioning what? The version. So what is the version? Version is what? 4. Okay, IHL, that is IP header length. So how much of header length we are using? So that header length we are mentioning. And here next one is differentiated service field, that is DS. So that we are going to indicate the type of service, whether it is connection oriented or connectionless. So that type of service will be indicated here, that is DS. Okay. And ECN is explicit congestion notification field. Okay, that is like any congestion is occurring on the network. Congestion means what? Because of heavy packets are transmitted, more number of packets are transmitted over the network, there may be chance of what the packets will be colliding, so overlapping each other, so there may be chances of errors. So that type of condition we are going to call it as congestion. Okay, so congestion is like what? Congested. The network is congested with what? The packets. Okay, so that is what? ECN. So explicit congestion notification field. If there is any congestion on the network, that will be notified by enabling this particular field. Okay, then coming to the total length. So total length of the IP datagram, so that will be mentioned here. Header length means how much of header header we are using. So that is header length. Total length means along with the header, the data field completely we are mentioning in the total length. Okay. And coming to identification, flags, fragment offset, and these fields are used in the fragmentation and reassembly process. So why we are going for fragmentation? So fragmentation means what? Division. So divide into smaller parts. If we are still dividing the data into smaller parts, so those fragments will be identified by using this identification number. Okay, and the flags. So flags will be used to mention, okay, like what kind of field it is. Okay, then fragment offset. So what are the fragments? So these will be used for fragmentation and reassembly. Reassembly means what? Rejoining. So at the receiver end, again it has to be rejoined. So for that purpose, the reassembly process is needed. So identification is ID. So flags are just like what you are indicating, like if bit 1 is activated. Okay, so that is what flag means. It will be consisting of 1 bits. So here we are allocating 3 bits. 16 to 19 means there are 3 bits. So these will be used in what? Fragmentation and reassembly when you are reassembling. So whether any errors are there or not. So for that, if any congestion is there, so that is to be mentioned. So all those, these flags will be used to indicate those. Okay. And time to live. How much of the time we are giving for this particular packet? So that is, once you are transmitting the packet, it has to be delivered in some units of time. Okay, so the age you are mentioning, how many units of time it should be active. After that, so that means if it is delayed, so if it is delayed means what? Receiver will indicate to the sender that I have not received the packet. So then again the sender, what he will do, he will retransmit the message. So when he is retransmitting the message, the older packet is also on the network, the new packet we are transmitting. So that means what? There is a chance of what? The same packet is delivered again and again. Okay, it is delayed. Okay, as it is delayed, it is mentioning that it has to be retransmitted. But how much of time we have to consider? So that is we are mentioning in the time to live. Okay, so time to live means how much of time we have to wait for the packet delivery. So once it is not delivered in that particular units of time, then the packet has to be discarded and the new packet has to be transmitted. So the time we are going to mention in this one. Okay, and protocol. So what kind of protocol we are using? Okay, so like if you are going for what? SNMP protocol. Okay, simple network management protocol. So that is for what? Managing the network. So what kind of packet it is, whether it is message protocol or it is a mail protocol. If it is a mail protocol, that is what? SMTP. Okay, simple mail transmission protocol. So what kind of protocols it is using, so that has to be mentioned. So what kind of message it is, so that will be mentioned in the protocol. And coming to header checksum. Checksum is for what? Error checking. So for the header we are mentioning the checksum for checking the error. If any error is occurring, so how to identify it. So for that we are adding the additional field that is called header checksum. So these are the fields. And coming to other than these fields, there are two addresses here: source address and destination address. So source and destination address, here we are mentioning what is the IP address of the source and what is the IP address of the destination. Any device in the network will be identified with IP address. Okay, so there are two kinds of addresses. One is physical address and the second one is logical address. Okay, do remember these 2 points. So there are two types of addresses. One is physical address and the second one is logical address. Physical address means the address that is given to NIC, okay, network interface card. Every device that has to connect to the network means it should have NIC. That will be just like a chip. Okay, so that will be there in your device. If it is there in your device, then only it will be allowed for network connection and it can be used for the transmission and reception. So NIC, you please check it out. What is this? Okay, NIC. For every NIC, the manufacturer will give one address. Okay, one permanent number. So that address is said to be MAC address. Okay, MAC address. MAC address is medium access controller. That is the data link layer sub layer. So MAC address, so that is of 48 bits. Okay, so every device will have a physical address that will be unique. Okay, that will be unique and that will be of what? 48 bits, and that will be given by the manufacturer. Okay, that will be given by the manufacturer. So that is what physical address. So any device, any the computing device you are considering, so that will be having the MAC address. So other than the MAC address, every device will be given with a logical address. So logical address in the sense, whenever you are connecting to any network, every network will have its own type of addressing. Okay, its own format of addressing. So if the device has to be connected in that network, so the device has to follow the same format of addressing. Like for example, if I am taking a laboratory, so in the lab we have, for example, 50 systems. So for these 50 systems, I am establishing a LAN, local area network. So for that local area network, we will be assigning one network address. So one network address, like for example 192.168.1.0. So this is my network address. That means all of my devices in this network will follow the same format, 192.168.1.0. Okay, so 1.0 is what? Network address. Then coming to the devices, the computers in this network, I'm going to assign the IP addresses like 192.168.1.1 for the first system, 1.2 for the second system, 1.3 for the third system. So like this, I am going to give the each device in the network with this address. So now, if I am taking my laptop and I want to connect to this particular network, so I have to obtain the same kind of address, that is 192.168.1. For example 51. Okay, so that is what this is additional system I am connecting, so I am assigning what? 51. So this is what the same format it is having, so it is going to be in this network. Now it is able to communicate with the devices in the network. Now I am removing my laptop from this network and I am going to connect to some other network. Some other network that is having what the address format is 10.1.1.0. Okay, now my IP address will be changed to what? If I want to connect to that particular network, I have to take that format. So 10.1.1.5. Okay, so like this, the address, whatever the address I am giving, so in one network it is having one kind of addressing, in another network it is having another kind of addressing. So this is what changing. So this kind of addressing, whichever is dependent on the network, so that addressing is said to be what? Logical addressing. Physical address will be permanent, unique, that is what? MAC address. Okay, so that will be assigned by the manufacturer of NIC, network interface card. Okay, but coming to logical address is dependent on the network. Okay, every network will have its own addressing, so that logical address we are assigning. Okay, so logical address is different. And coming to the IP address is the logical address. So here the source and destination addresses, we are going to mention the logical addressing. Okay, so logical address, that is what is the IP address of the source system and what is the IP address of the destination system. So the logical addresses we are going to mention in this one. Okay, source and destination address. Okay, and options and padding for additional, like if the packet is not having sufficient number of bits, okay, then we can add additional bits, so that is said to be padding. So this is what IPv4 format. Okay, and now coming to the IPv4, as I told you, IPv4 address will be represented as dotted decimal format. Okay, dotted decimal format is what? It will be following like this. First x dot x dot x dot x, where x is what? One decimal number. Okay, so that's why we are representing it as what? Dotted decimal format like this. You can see one example I have written 192.168.1.4. So 192 is one decimal number, 168 one decimal number, 1 is another decimal number, and 4. So it will be having 4 parts. IPv4 is of 4 parts, and these 4 parts, each part is one decimal number we are mentioning. Okay, and each decimal will be of maximum of 8 bits. Okay, so 8-bit decimal number we are using. So that means here one x represents 8 bits, 8 bits, 8 bits, 8 bits, and 8 bits. So that is totally how many? 32 bits. So IPv4 will be having 32-bit addressing. Okay, 32-bit addressing. So there are 4 parts of that address. So each part will be of what? 8 bits. Okay, so in detail how this IPv4 is assigning the address and what this 192, 168, 1 and 4 is representing. So for that we need to learn about IPv4 addressing. So actually that is not in your syllabus. It will be in the computer networks. That may be in the next semester. Okay, so if it is there, we'll be discussing in the detail. So this is what how the IPv4 addressing will be. So source and destination addresses in this format we are going to mention. So 32-bit source address, 32-bit destination address will be mentioned. So that is what IPv4. And coming to the second one, IPv6 addressing. So IPv4 and IPv6 main difference is IPv4 is using only 32 bits of address, source and destination address. But coming to IPv6 is using 128-bit addressing. Okay, so why it is going for 128-bit addressing is coming to 32 bits. 32-bit means only 2 power 32-bit addresses we can have, right? So each bit is representing 2 values. So 32-bit means 2 power 32 values I can represent. So 2 power 32. number of addresses we can use. But nowadays, what is happening? So number of devices are increasing, and even every electronic device is connecting to the network. Like you can connect AC to the network, you can connect geyser to the network, you can connect microwave to the network. So any device, any electronic device, even you can connect a fan to the network, lights to the network. So IoT, Internet of Things, where every electronic device is able to connect to the network. Okay, so to connect to the network, every device need to be represented with some address. Okay, every device need to be represented with some address. But if you go for IPv4 addressing, only 32 bits are available. Okay, so Internet of Things, more number of addresses I cannot represent with 32 bits. So that's why we need more address space. Okay, so as we need more address space, we are going for what? The next improved version, that is IPv6 version. So where it is going to use 128 bits. Okay, so that is 2 power 128 addressing we can have. So that is more than enough. So where it can be used for representing more number of devices, more number of IP addresses we can assign. So that is 128-bit addressing we are going to use. And here coming to IPv6 addressing, this 128 bits are represented with the colon format that is not mentioned in your syllabus, but when we require, we'll be discussing in detail for regarding this 128 bits. Okay, so it will be representing the hexadecimal numbers. Okay, so that you please remember, hexadecimal notation it will be represented. Okay, so IPv6 addressing, so that will be having 128 bits. And coming to the other ones, okay, version, that is the version number, type of service, DS, okay, ECN, congestion notification, okay, flow label, that is indicating uh, the flow, okay, for the flow control. Flow control in the sense from the source to the destination, so the speed has to be managed. So for that, just like Windows, here we can use flow label. And payload length means what is the length of the data. Okay, what is the next header? So next header we can mention. So that is what, this is the current header. So what is the next header number? Okay, so that also we can mention. And limit, so what is the limit? Hop limit means how many number of routers it has to cross. That is how many maximum, how many number of routers it has to cross to reach to the destination. So that is what hop. Hop means the intermediate, the switching elements. Okay, so how many number of routers it has to cross to reach to the destination. So that we can mention. Why? Because in the previous one we have seen time to live. Okay, so time to live means how much duration it has to be active. Okay, here hop limit means how many number of routers it has to cross to reach the destination. So this is to avoid the looping of the packets. So the same packet may be what looped in the network, and again it is going through the number of routers, because there is what huge network, huge number of routers are there. So there may be chances of what the same packet may be repeated again and again in the network. Okay, so to avoid the looping of the packets, so what we are doing, we are mentioning how many number of hops it has to cross to reach to the destination. If the limit is crossed, like I am mentioning, it should cross 10 routers to reach to the destination. Okay, but what happens, the hop limit now, the number of routers it is crossing is 15. Okay, I mentioned it is what 10 and it is what 15. 15 means what, it is what it should not be taken. So already it is crossing the limit, so it should not be taken. So that packet will be dropped. So for mentioning that, we require this hop limit. Okay, so that is IPv6 header format. So version, differentiated service, explicit congestion notification field, flow label, payload length, next header number, okay, hop limit, source address and destination address. Source and destination address will use 128 bits here. Okay, so 4 times larger than IPv4 addressing. Okay, so that is what the IPv6 addressing. So these are what two types of IP headers. Now coming to what are the protocols, different protocols we are using in TCP IP protocol suite. Okay, so mainly when you go for the protocols, TCP IP is what of the protocol suite. So it is having 4 layers, right? So in this one, you can see what are the different protocols we are using at each in the TCP IP protocol suite that are mentioned here. So we should know what is the purpose of each one. Okay, in detail is not required as per your syllabus. So I just tell you what it is. Okay, so BGP, that is Border Gateway Protocol. So this border gateway protocol is used for exchanging of routing information. Okay, exchanging of routing information. So what do you mean by routing? Routing is nothing but identifying the path to reach to the destination. So what is the path it has to take? So that information from one router to another router, the information has to be exchanged. So for this, we are going to use BGP, Border Gateway Protocol. Okay. Then coming to FTP. So FTP is what? File Transfer Protocol. So file transfer protocol means whenever any file is to be exchanged. Now if you are downloading any document from the internet, so that is what file transfer. You are doing what? File transfer from the remote system to your system. You are downloading one document, so file is being transmitted. So file transmission protocol means what kind of uh, that is file we are going to transmit. Okay, so that protocol is file transfer protocol. HTTP. So if you are opening a web page, okay, so that is what hypertext transmission protocol. So web pages to exchange the web documents, it is what? HTTP protocol, hypertext transmission protocol. Okay, SMTP, simple mail transmission protocol. So if you are using any mail transmission, if you want to perform any mail exchange, so you need to go for what? Simple mail transmission protocol. Telnet. So in the SMTP, you have one extension also. So that is multi-purpose internet mail extension. That is MIME. So SMTP was the older one. So new MIME is it is used. It is also used for what in the mail you can also exchange the images, other document, text documents, video files. You can exchange. So for additional. Previously, SMTP is used to allow only the text mail. Okay, then later on you can add the attachments. In the attachments, it can have images, it can have files, it can have video files. So whatever may be the content. So for that one, the extension is multi-purpose internet mail extension. So that is MIME. Okay, Telnet. Telnet for remote system. If you want to connect to the remote system, and if you want to interact with the remote system, then you can use Telnet. Okay, so all these will be coming under TCP. So if you are using TCP, so all these in the application layer, you can go for these protocols. Okay, and in UDP, UDP is what? User datagram protocol. So if it is connectionless, in the connectionless, you can have what? SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol. So for managing the network, if any problems in the network, if you want to check it out, so you can go for what? SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol. So that is SNMP. Okay, that is related to UDP. So if you go for TCP protocol, for TCP you have these kind of application layer protocols. For UDP you can have this kind of application layer protocol. And coming to IP. So IP is what? Internet protocol. So in the internet protocol, TCP, UDP at the transport layer, and these are application layer. And other than these application layer protocols, there are some additional protocols are available. So which are directly used on the IP. Okay, so those are ICMP. ICMP is Internet Control Message Protocol. Okay, for controlling and management purpose. Okay, so that is ICMP. Internet Group Management Protocol. So that is what if you have groups of the devices. Okay, so that groups you need to manage in the network. So that is IGMP you can use. OSPF. OSPF is Open Shortest Path First. That is, this is also used for the routing purpose. Like if you are going to, like BGP means you are going to identify, you are going to exchange the routing information. OSPF is to establish the route itself, you can go for what? OSPF. Okay, so open shortest path first. Once the shortest path is identified, you can utilize that shortest path. Okay, and RSVP, okay, Resource Reservation Protocol for reserving the resources, network resources. Okay, so for that we are going to use RSVP. Okay, so these are all the different protocols available in TCP IP protocol suite. Okay, there are only 4 minutes left. Please post your attendance in the chat box. Right, so this is all about TCP IP protocol suite. Okay, fine. So that is TCP IP. So till now what we have discussed, what are the different layers in the TCP. Okay, so at each layer how the protocol data unit will be and what are the headers will be added. So in the TCP transport layer we have what? TCP or UDP header. So TCP header one format, UDP header another format we have seen. IP we have two versions, IPv4 and IPv6. So what are the two header formats we have seen. Okay, so that is about TCP IP protocol suite. Okay, now coming to the next one, OSI reference model. So I already told you there are two reference models. One is TCP IP and the second one is OSI. Okay, Open System Interconnection. Okay, so TCP IP was introduced earlier and then the OSI reference model has came into picture. Okay, so TCP IP is defining number of protocols. So I already shown you these are what different number of protocols are available in TCP IP. But OSI reference model, it is not going to give you any protocols. It is going to mention, so what are the functionalities of each layer. Okay, so TCP IP is going to give you the protocols. So each layer, what are the protocols are available for each protocol? What is the protocol name? Okay, so that is given. So that's why it is said to be what? TCP IP protocol suite or TCP IP protocol stack. But coming to OSI reference model, so OSI reference model is going to give the number of layers and the functionality of each layer. It is only mentioning what is the functionality of each layer. And compared to TCP and TCP IP reference model and OSI reference model, TCP IP is having what? 4, and if you divide the network layer into two parts, you can have what? Totally 5 layers. I already told you, right? So 4 or 5 layers, depends. Okay, if we are taking IP and network access into a single layer, that will be taken as network layer, only 4. But if you are taking IP and network access layer as separate, you can take it as what? 5. Right. Now, coming to this OSI reference model. OSI reference model, there are 4. Sorry, there are 7 layers. There are 7 layers. So whatever the TCP IP layers are there, their functionality is subdivided. Okay, and 7 layers are formed. So these are said to be what? 7 layers of OSI reference model. In detail, we'll be discussing the next class, but you should remember this. If you start from the top, application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. So these layers were 7 layers of OSI reference model. So what are the functionalities of each layer, that we'll see in the next class, that is tomorrow. Okay, fine. Any doubts? If you have any doubts, please send me a message. Otherwise, you can give the attendance and leave.